Yo, it's Craig from BitCoin Roadshow, or should I say BitCoin Roadshow. So today, what I was going to speak about was something I've been planning to talk about since the last, 12 stops. Since Vegas I was going to do it, and I just haven't filmed it. And this happens to be like one of the last stops on my road trip, or sorry, our road trip. Rumbles actually getting a bit sick. I think like seriously sick, like something's happening inside him where he gets pain. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting back to his vet. But I wanted to speak about cashing out of Bitcoin. If, when, how, blah blah blah. Well, the how would be easy if you were going to go to US dollars, because our app will be finished by then, long before then, well actually very soon. This is for the Pryvate, Pryvate, you can see it on the App Store. The next version of Pryvate is coming up in a couple of days. It's going to have the changeley on it for atomic swaps. The next developments will be for the ability to purchase Bitcoin and PVC, which is our token, and Ethereum. Actually EOS is going to be the first one listed on there. The developer just told me yesterday, which is really cool. Anyway, when to cash out? So it'd be kind of stupid to do. If I'm talking about all of it, let's say you've got a few. Let's say you've managed to amass anywhere between 5 to 500, right? Doesn't matter, anywhere between that amount. You wouldn't really want to. I was actually seeing a friend of mine in Vegas. He had someone he was going to sell. We're in Florida, by the way. Just to show you a bit around here. Here we go. On bikes. I did that around Florida last year. So what I was saying to him was, really want to sell as little as possible. Actually, especially this next 2 years, because the gains will be so huge. It'll outpace any interest you might get in a loan. So you might even be better off taking out a loan than cashing out if you need the cash, you know. So I wanted to just kind of address that point. Besides that, let's say John McAfee, whether you love him or hate him, doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to me anyway. I'm sure it doesn't matter. He doesn't give a fuck either. That makes two of us. So whether you don't like him or like him, the guy's a smart guy, and I think his calculations are most likely correct, and it's probably based upon the hockey stick momentum you get every time there is a, what do you call it? Oh, my phone is... I'll join it together later on. Hopefully it doesn't keep on doing these 3-minute videos. I'm using my other phone, so I can leave that one for SatNav, because the SatNav that comes with the car is a fucking piece of shit. But that's another story. So, you cash out. Let's say, for example, you're going to do in McAfee's prediction, the $1 million prediction. Realistically, once it gets to $1 million, it will probably not be able to buy you what we imagine now is $1 million worth of stuff. So say, for example, you want to buy like right now you've got, let's say you've got $1 million worth of Bitcoin right now. Or actually, probably the other way to say it is, let's say you've got one Bitcoin, and it will be worth $1 million in 2 and a bit years, right? So that means you buy a fifth of a Camaro, or a, I don't know, how much a Koenigsegg worth? I don't know. Let me think of another one then. The Bugatti Veyron, right? That's $1 million, I think. So I wouldn't get your hopes up and think you can buy a Bugatti if you're that annoying crowd that says stupid shit like when Lambo and I just want to punch the fuck out of them. You don't belong in crypto. I'm sorry, it's so annoying. You don't belong on Earth. That's what I mean. I don't belong in crypto. You just belong buried somewhere. Anyway, if you are one of those twats and that's your I'm just kidding. So you get to this 2-year time spot. $1 million will not really be $1 million as such, you know what I mean? because what will have happened is you'll already have at that point, even from around about 100,000 onwards, this is the point where the news that was not reported in 2011, April 2011, when Bitcoin overtook the, anyone notice that wasn't on the news? Yeah, that's right, it wasn't on the news. It was hidden away, because remember, the news, the mainstream media only started paying attention to Bitcoin like halfway through last year, something like July last year, and that's because they were getting so embarrassed, because the only people that watch their bullshit, their lies, is like the 50s to 60-year-olds in most countries, right? So it doesn't matter where the propaganda media is from, it's the oldies in those countries watching the propaganda, right? Because the young people just think, hang on, this is too unbelievable. So they're turning it off in droves all around the world. A lot of Harleys around here. They're turning the mainstream lie media off. They're seeing through it, especially the really young generation. They're much smarter than millennials at spawning scams and things, I've noticed. So must be a backer meet or poker run. So that's what I'm thinking. Not only by the time you want to cash it out will you not really have the $1 million that you think you're gonna have, because it's just like in trading, you should not be counting in $1 million anymore. Count in crypto, count in Bitcoin, and then just get used to the fact that Bitcoin gets more buying power. It's probably a safer way to do it. People screw up all the time when they're trading, when they're trading in dollars. Oh look, I made so much money. No, you didn't. You actually lost, because the price of Bitcoin went up more than what you've just earned, or you think you've earned by moving money back and forward, which is how a lot of the bots are making their money, as opposed to they're making it against the stupid money rather than smart money. Massive marks. So yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch, really, on that one. Although I'm not saying not to be positive about crypto, of course. I mean, really what you want to be doing is moving what you've got into crypto, because the banks are doing this right now. That's why it keeps on spiking up in value, and every time they try, and they need to think, oh right, we need to rethink our strategy. How do we enter without, I've mentioned this in many videos, how do we enter with the lack of liquidity? And that's going to carry on, by the way. That lack of liquidity, it's going to keep carrying on. It's going to make things spike. But the other lack of liquidity, they'll come later on, when people not only there won't be sellers of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. There won't be, it's more like the other way around. There won't be buyers of dollar. There won't be buyers of pound and yen and stuff like that. So yen will probably collapse the first. It's been called long ago. People like Max Kaiser have called that long ago. I think Jim Rickard said the same thing. The death of money. Although he says some fucking dumbass stuff nowadays, I tell you. It's like he's got a little bit of senility and sitting, and I don't know, maybe. He's an old guy now. So I think by the time 2020 comes, when it really has, you've got this hockey stick momentum, it's $1 million. By that stage, it's a matter of weeks before it's trillions. But why is that? Well, it's the same thing why it was a matter of weeks in Zimbabwe to have a few $100,000 note to having $1 trillion note. Hyperinflation. Argentina, Britain, America, all these countries have had it before. That's why we're not on our first currency. That's why the average age of a currency is 27 years, and why the US dollar is the oldest printed currency now at 86, I think it is, years, because it was rebooted again after the Great Depression. So these aren't new things. The people that laugh, like they laughed at me back in New Zealand in 2011 when I was telling them that the New Zealand dollar just got overtaken, earlier this month with Bitcoin. It was like, yeah mate, yeah, oh sure mate, sure, yeah. And it's like, well, just don't believe me, go online and look at it. And now there's people, you're fucking wrong, dickheads. Anyway, now those people are slowly either shitting themselves or are still too stupid to see the fuck ups they've made or have failed to mitigate against. Oh, here we are, Panama City Beach. So that was one thing I wanted to speak about, really. By the time you want to cash out in crypto, if you are the one that's waiting for the $1 million, It will not really be worth what you think $1 million is worth. So you might not be able to just sit on one Bitcoin and expect it to buy you 3 houses or something. You know, that's just one thing. It will probably buy you a lot more than it will now, though. So hodl, still get more, trade, make more. If you can't make more, don't try trading. If you can't separate your emotions from your, you know, from your buys and sells, then just don't do it. Turn off the news for one. That might be one thing. That's the thing is, see, the news helps you make money in some ways, because and it becomes a never-changing thing too. Because I mean, years ago, last year, I bought Tron. I think it's Tron shit. I think Verge is shit. I still bought them because I thought, well, fuck it. If stupid money will jump in and buy these two currencies. So, but not necessarily in the time scale I'm going to do it. So I bought in because still I noticed there still hadn't been any inflation. The price hadn't gone up. I don't want to say inflation, deflation, because they were kind of backwards. And anyway. So I bought it and sold out really quickly when I noticed that, like, I got 20%, I think I went up even further than that, and it's like, oh, I could have made more, who cares? That's how you also fuck up. People with Ripple, I tell them all the time, well, I hate Ripple. To me it's akin to saying, right, saying I invest in Bitcoin and Ripple, as I said to a guy, I don't know if it was my group or someone else's group, but I said, you know, the thing you need to understand is that investing in those two currencies, say it's Bitcoin and Ripple, is your two hodls, right? It's the same thing as saying, oh, I invest in child slavery and also child welfare. You know, they're two contradictory things. One is here to help the world become a better place. The other one is to assist the wrath of the banks. You know, is help them do their crap. Middle Beach, there it is. It's helped them to carry on with the lie that they've been, you know, clouding everyone's brains with, using their media for the last God knows how many years. I don't take part in it anymore. Whereas, yeah, I mean, that's all Ripple's there for, is to really help the banks, is to facilitate their existence. You know, it's like they're dying, and that's to say, right, no, we can give it an extra little shot here. Why do you want to help them? There's no reason. Not when there's so much money to be made elsewhere. Why do you want to help these fucking assholes? These thieving cunts who just take people's property, you know, who caused the global financial meltdown, then stole your taxes, and then things like schools and stuff can't be built because there's not enough taxes. You know, they've plundered it all. They've been given it all by Obama and whoever else, you know. And, you know, I don't know who was running the UK at the time, David Cameron maybe. So that's the reason why I say it. There is more than 3,000 cryptocurrencies out there. There's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of ones that are kind of sure. I mean, it's pretty sure that Ethereum, EOS is going to go up. I'm actually not so sure about Ethereum. It'll go up, of course, but whether it'll go up in droves again, because I just don't. It's messy coding compared to other platforms. It showed its colors with CryptoKitties. I've said this before. So there's no reason to invest in Ripple at all. It's just stupid. It really is that whole thing that I keep saying about oh, you know, well, look, pedophilia is paying really good money now for child porn. I don't want to be part of that. It's a fucking a disgusting, horrible, evil game. So is Ripple. If you don't understand that, you just don't understand Ripple yet. This guy was arguing with me the other day on their nodes. I don't think they're called master nodes or super nodes. Anyway, whatever they call their nodes. He said, "Oh, it's not centralized. You don't understand it." I'm like, "Oh, you fucking dipshit!" It's a few companies and the MIT as well. Not a company. Well, I suppose it is a company, isn't it? It's a university in America. Everything's a company in America. So they control these nodes. That is a form of centralization. Okay, it's not one, it might be 4 or 6. Even if it was 20, it doesn't fucking matter. That's too few. The whole point about blockchain is that it's distributed properly. That means control and the actual physical nodes. So basically, people who argue that one, you do not understand what the fuck you're talking about, okay? The fact that they can either authorize or decline a transaction coming through is testament to how fucked Ripple is. So you know what? And if you're a person who learns this and still doesn't listen, then fuck you. You deserve to actually lose your money. I'm never usually like this, but you people deserve to lose everything. I fucking hope you do, because there's no one more deserving than someone who takes part in a horrible game. Because the whole crypto thing exists because of Bitcoin, right? And I'm still happy to get whatever else, LiteCoin, or I'm not happy with Bitcoin Cash. It doesn't need to exist. It's like fast transactions. You already had companies doing fast transactions. It was not required. That's why I will not ever invest in Bitcoin Cash or any other Bitcoin fork, because they're fucking shams. I'm not gonna ever. They can make money. I'm not saying they don't make money, and that people say, "Oh, well, that in itself is emotional trading." No, it's not. What it is I exclude them from the list of things that I'm part of. People do this in the stock market all the time. Like I won't invest in that because it's a Jewish company, or it's an Arabic company, or as the Jews will say, vice versa. Or people will be like, oh, I don't invest in things that are to do with logging. There's lots of things that's called a moral exclusion. It's not to do with emotional trading. So that's a bullshit cop-out as well, people with that pathetic argument. It doesn't belong because, one, it is not a cryptocurrency, shouldn't even be listed on the coin market cap because it's not crypto. And you know, it's a basically token to allow to facilitate old technology. And the other thing is, oh, but it's faster than Swift. Swift is the speed it is because it's made the speed it is. Everything that's in the banking system is potentially the speed of light. Those fuckers slow it down to give an excuse to hold on to your money and to charge you. You know, there's no reason, to charge you for, you're going to expedite, it's going to cost you more. Why? What, so that you don't stand in front of the bits and bytes and actually slow them down? Because that's the only reason. So the simple fact is, if Ripple were to pose any true threat to Swift would just take away the hurdles and the hindrances to their own network and actually process the things properly. That's living. So, hodl like you've never hodled before. Try and trade if you can. Something that we're doing on Pryvate. I'm hoping this is exciting stuff to many people out there, because I get annoyed with bots. If you try to set your lures, it comes above you, and next thing it starts to beat you. What you need to try do is have a look at our Pryvate app, and then keep an eye out for when the trading platform goes live. What the fuck is going on with this clutch? For when the trading platform goes live, because we're gonna duplicate it. So I was asking the lead developer, the main guy, the other day, Joe, about whether he could do two different a trophy truck behind me. So basically, sorry, my concentration's elsewhere just now. This guy racing up my ass before. Yeah, basically we're gonna have one with an API, one without. So it's to block out people from the banks, basically. I'd love to see a site where banks just are not welcome. Sorry, Wall Street, you can fuck off and do it the hard way. You can sit down in front of a computer, you can analyze stuff, and you can trade, you know, manually. Of course, there'll be ways to get around this. There's my other one of the other guys in the advisor team that I lead up. He's a principal developer as well. He was saying that yeah, of course you can still get onto the website. You wouldn't have to have that API connectivity to do automatic trading, which is true. But we can put in smarts. We can do actually one of the things that he suggested was limiting the amount of trades per minute. There's other things as well. There's certain behavior that you could actually look out for. You could build smarts into it to actually look up that behavior and then block that IP address. You'd have to keep on switching and block that account actually. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Yeah, so I think it's all exciting, and if you are not very good at trading, that might be a place to go, because then what you're doing is you're not having to get shafted all the time by all these Wall Street bots that are really, because that's what they're doing. They're taking the piss out of you guys, because you know you go on there, it's like, oh, I saw something on the newspaper. The newspaper all being lies, of course, because they're all on these big media corporations, and then you react upon that. And the thing is, they have read that fake news. They might know it's fake, but that's not the point. They know what your reaction will be to that fake news, and they fleece you. It's called shaking out the weak hands, and that's what they do to you all the time. So if you do recognize that you're losing money, you got to really start off when you trade in small amounts. I started a few friends off in 0.1, but actually that was probably too much to give them. I should have just given them like 0.01. And one guy, sorry RC, when I first gave him 0.1 over in Denver, and he bought some coins. Okay, I told him coins I liked, but he hadn't really learned to trade yet, and he bought ones that, a few that I buy actually. It was an AWK. No, that's a programming language. ARK. So he bought ARK, and then it kind of dipped, and he was waiting for ages, holding bags. And a good lesson though, holding bags right from day one. But you know, I ditched mine at the right time, and I didn't realize he was still holding his. Or actually, no, he told me to buy it as well. So I bought it for him, but by the time he reacted, it had already gone down in price. I said, look, you need to be on. This is the thing. You need to either be on or not on. You know, you can't just go away. And my friend Chris and Georgia did the same thing. What did he do it with? Was it LiteCoin or something? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Same kind of thing. And he was. Oh, I'm too busy to sit in front of the computer. So, well, don't trade then, or else just set your auto sells. You know, come up with a. It's a way you can trade quite easily. Actually, I've been doing it since I can't trade this year. At the end of last year, I just set a whole bunch of lures, and then some big moon sales. You know what I mean? I just stuck them in there. Some they might sell, they might not. It just means if I do have to report any tax, what's it called, tradable events, I won't be having to do that many. And it'll be worth the annoyance of having to do so, because the margins will be big. And that's the way you can trade. I might do a thing on that actually. I have a little video explaining how to do that. I need to get a computer set up so I can do all this sort of stuff. When I get back to Georgia, I'll do that. I'm very busy at the moment with these two ICOs. So because I've got a second ICO coming up for OptiPulse, which is a pretty cool company from Albuquerque. Nice people. I just met them when I was there. Actually, I'd never knew them before, and I just happened to speak to this lady in a bar, and she said, "Oh yeah, I just come back from Santa Monica." And I was over there just a few days ago, and she said, "Oh, we at the BitCoin at the blockchain conference too." I was like, "No," and then got talking about their company, and the company was OptiPulse, and what they're doing is decentralized internet. And I thought, Substratum and all that. And I was thinking a few other players in the market, and then discovered that, oh shit, they actually got their own hardware as well, and it's groundbreaking stuff. These chips, they kind of, under the microscope, they kind of look like what are they called again? Like the quantum computing chips, a little bit. Lots of little glistening cubes under it. Really cool. So they're using little telescopes and doing 11 gigabits per second wireless, but not radio wireless, not Wi-Fi, optical wireless. So I've done a lot of optical wireless stuff in the past. I used to be a network engineer. I've also been a project manager, technical project manager. So these things can suffer from weather. They've got a lot of stuff a lot of tech built in to allow the gimbal to steer automatically, to effectively compensate for some of the beams getting blocked. It's really cool stuff. So they can get around the annoying big companies that are holding America to ransom with their fucking shit internet services. This country has the shittest internet of any first world country. Mark my words, I've been all around it. I've been all around this country now. It has the worst internet in the developed world. Bar none. There's no other country that's as bad as here. And the only third world countries, even bordering on third world countries in Europe, have better internet than here. Unless you're in the middle of nowhere in Montenegro, maybe. Okay, fair enough. But even there, the internet in the cafes in places like Bosnia, Montenegro, and that was actually a lot faster than what you get in most businesses. Even Florida, Silicon Valley, fuck, it was slow as shit, man. So yeah, it's actually embarrassing. This embarrassment drove the New Zealand governments, I think Australian too, and British, to put in a lot of infrastructure in the last few years. So our countries have got like fibre at the door and things like that. So they jumped that up to the 300 megabits a second level of most people's homes, you know. So, because it was just sheer embarrassment we had as well. But America just hasn't done it, and it's all about this, oh yeah, the free market state. This place ain't got any free market. There's no capitalism here. This is crony capitalism in this country. I explained this to my friend the other day, and he kind of got very defensive, as if, and the same way people do about politics. You know, I mean, oh, I'm on the blue team, on the red team. You know, I'm on the red team, so I've got to pretend that these fucking shill scientists have actually got a point when they say stuff. Like, oh, global warming doesn't exist. Okay, fair enough. So in that case, these other idiots from what do you call it? Democrats, stop saying stupid shit like global warming all the time, because you know the Democrats are just going to poo-poo what you say. Republicans are going to poo-poo what you say because they're shill scientists. So why don't you just talk about pollution, which we can all see around us all the time, everywhere. You know, it's just simple. Get around it. Stop. If that's the shutdown point, choose another point so it doesn't get shut down until you find one that can, you know, they can deny. Anyway, I won't waffle on for too long. But there's there's the other ICO, Pryvate. So yeah, it's going to be you know, both these ICOs are going to be so what's the word? Different in the fact that they're companies which already have something. You know, one's got a software product being on the market, the most secure messaging app since 2015 has been on the App Store and stuff, and Google Play. And you've got this other company who's actually doing building equipment, already have the equipment, because our other company in London, Black Box Hosting, we're going to start using this to our high bandwidth customers who want anything a gig and beyond. Rather than putting in fiber, we're going to put this straight towards their building, so we don't have to wait for British Telecom or BT or Verizon, Cable and Wireless, or any of these other big players or Colt or anything like that to slowly put in this fiber and have to jump through hoops and get all our ripe allocations and all this sort of thing. You don't have to do any of that shit. It's going to be really good. So yeah, I think there are two awesome things to be involved in, from the fact that they're doing unique things, and they're also, I mean, Pryvate is doing a few unique things inside that app, the API and non-API trading platform, the ability to buy cryptocurrencies, you know, the atomic swaps function. And then the other stuff that was already there, you know, the messaging, secure email, secure video, secure voice, so no one can snip into your stuff and spill your business secrets because someone in the government who is actually spying on it decides to sell your information, or one of the agencies the government decided to hire decides to sell your information. Because these are the kind of things that are going on. I mean, look at Facebook. I mean, the other day, I think Telegram wasn't going to give over the keys to the Russian government, and they weren't happy with that. Well, that means that everyone else operating there did give over the keys. You know what I mean? It just kind of there's a bit of a no-brainer. So that means WhatsApp's already done it. You know. Anyway, I'm going to get off. That's about it. This is the last in the series of the Bitcoin Roadshow, because not only did I forget to film quite a few of them because I was having too much fun with my son here. But I'm almost back in Georgia. Gonna head up to Atlanta after this. So take care, keep hodling, trade if you can, get the word out, teach other people, tell other people about Cryptoversity. Not because I give two shits, because it's not monetized. Please understand this, right? I do not give a fucking flying fuck if, you know, if my face gets out. There's not really about that, actually. Maybe it's about getting the word out there, and about you guys teaching. Fuck, take all the content from the pages and make your own group and pretend you did it yourself. I don't give a shit. Just teach people what's going on. Get crypto adoption up, not just so that your crypto is worth more, so that the people you supposedly care about get protected from collapse, because that's going to come. And it's not just people like Jim Rickards saying that anymore. It's essentially, you know, proper economists. Not the Nobel Prize winning economists that bloody CBS get on. What a fucking laugh that was. All three of them saying the same thing. I mean, what is Bitcoin? I mean, who really understands Bitcoin? I mean, nobody understands Bitcoin. It's almost like listening to Mark Zuckerberg saying that, you know, oh, Alexa, please play a good song by Nickelback. Oh, there are no good songs by Nickelback. You know, fakeness, just so pathetic. The guy that's the socially inept guy that apparently invented a social platform. Yeah, we can all believe that happened. Just disgusting world we live in. Anyway, we're living in it. Let's make that living better. Stop living the shit version of your lives and start living the good version of your lives, you know. I mean, I've made a lot of fuck-ups, and I'm still living a good version of my life. Well, maybe not the best version of it. Some other guy, you know, alternative universe, who's hasn't made the last 3 catastrophic fuck-ups that I had, is sitting here laughing on a yacht somewhere, you know what I mean? And equally, there's probably some dipshit who just, yeah, I don't know, I'm not really so sure about this, you know, this crypto thing. Yeah. Alright, take care. I'm waffling now, so I will get off.